Huh?
Right here.
I didn't hear the announcement, but I guess it went.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to call the meeting to order. This is the Ascension Parish Mental Health and Addictive Disorder Board. And let it show that Miss Renda is not here now, but we're expecting her to come in. Number 2 on the agenda is to approve of the minutes. I don't believe we received the minutes. Nothing on the 2/3 to go on the agenda. Okay. Public comments. And the first thing is your status report from the state. And she gave y'all each a little slip of paper. I put that on the side of your seat a while ago. This one right here, Jerry.
Okay.
Right. This one.
Right.
Yeah. Thank you, darling. I'm sorry.
Do you have any questions before about the statistic?
I know you just got them. Okay, I'll go ahead and move on. We have hired a new social worker, Thomas Cannon, and he's to begin working with us on November the 5th. We're still trying to iron out schedules and that sort of thing. The next thing is we're also in the process of hiring another new social worker, and hopefully we'll get that position filled within the next 4 to 6 weeks. Also, we're in the early stages of restructuring our admissions process to try and cut down on the lengthy waiting list that we have now. So that should go into effect sometime in January, early February. We're having meetings and trying to decide what we can do to help cut that down for the clients. Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you, darling. And agenda item number 6, we have a speaker, Mr. Brad Levine, entitled to 3 minutes. Somebody can time him for 3 minutes?
Good afternoon, board members, Chairwoman Gotro. I'm here tonight to speak on behalf of Michelle Levine, who is an employee of the Ascension Parish Mental Health and Disorders Unit. I stand here in disgust with the misconduct of the mental health director, Susan Middendorf. On 9/17 of 2007, Michelle filed a grievance on Susan Middendorf to Human Resources in reference to her attitude and misconduct towards her. Also started, applied, and received 12 weeks of leave on the Family Medical Leave Act. 2 weeks after she filed the grievance, she was written up for the same things she filed the grievance on, which was done in pure retaliation for the filed grievance. 1 month prior, she received an evaluation from Stacy Morrow, who is her immediate supervisor, stating that she is an excellent employee and an asset to mental health. Also, that she treats all clients and personnel with respect and very dependable. I want answers from the parish president, as you too want. How long is tenured employees going to have to take abuse in mental health? The Family Medical Leave Act states that she cannot replace Michelle until her 12 weeks is up and decides whether to go back to work or not. Also cannot do any form of disciplinary action until this time, which has been done. I spoke with the Department of Labor, the legal department. The legal department advised me that she is in violation of Section 107, Sections A through E on the Family Medical Leave Act, that Michelle was harassed or discriminated against during this family medical leave. I demand that Susan Middendorf be reprimanded with a write-up for the state laws that she has violated. On behalf of Michelle and myself, I would like to commend the board on a job well done and the respect that you have for the people of Ascension Parish. I thank you for your time, and I thank you for your great public service. I spoke personally with President Hughes in reference to all of this. Once he promised another position in government, which he has failed to do, and the other just didn't seem concerned at all. And as an elected official, that concerns me. It is time that we take politics out of the treatment of the citizens of Ascension Parish and give them the services that they deserve. I thank you.
Thank you. Susan.
Thank you. I distributed a set of material today in addition to what you received in the mail. You'll see it attached to a pink sheet, and it has a list of the items that were included. The only thing that's not on the sheet is the Gordon-Orada legal services contract, which I'll discuss in my report.
We're going back to the agenda you sent us in the mail.
That's the only agenda.
Okay.
Let's see.
never received
Under,
one in the mail.
Me neither.
excuse me?
I never received one in the mail.
Well, there's one in your packet. It's the same one. You can follow that.
I didn't receive one in the mail either.
They were mailed, in time. I'm sorry. The mail's pretty unreliable. If you'd like us to do it some other way, we'd be glad to do it.
What other way there is to do it?
Oh,
We mail them out something
You have
like
my
10 days in
email address.
advance.
What's wrong with that?
I'm sorry?
You have my email address. What's wrong with
Well,
that?
some of the material is, we'll work on that. Under our service statistics, you can see that we made appointments for 1,039 people, that we saw 807, provided 807 services, and that this is an increase of 172 services over the same month last year, and an increase in 195 services actually provided, the 172 appointments and 195 services provided. So you can see that we have consistently this year increased the number of people that we've served. We also received screening calls from 114 people. I'd like to skip over to...
No, ma'am. We want to go to Donaldsonville. What day do we provide service in Donaldsonville? Is that still on Tuesday?
Mm-hmm. And our mental health work is going to be going on Wednesday, so we'll have the substance abuse counselor there on Tuesday, and the mental health work will be there Wednesday morning. And other people as needed to see provide a particular service.
Okay, and one other thing, Susan, by the law, everybody is entitled to what is on this agenda, especially these board members, where they can have time to read this and see what they have questions on. So let's go one step at a time tonight where
Sure.
they can get their comments in. Okay, we're on number 2.
Number 2, clinic collections. Do you want me to read that, or do you have that material?
Yes, ma'am, they don't have it. Oh, they have it in that
I gave
report.
it to them tonight.
see it?
It's in your packet, page 2 of my report.
Okay.
Any questions about clinic connections?
Appropriate that she go over everything she printed in black and white.
All right, fine. If you make that motion.
There, she needs to go over it.
Okay. A, monthly collections.
September 2007, we received $9,386, as compared with September of 2006, $5,965, and September of 2005, $7,700. Please delete collections problems. We discussed that outside of the with
What
board
did we
members.
decide to do with it?
I don't know, and the secretary is out, and I'm not sure what the status of that is, so I'm not.
Well, I do have a comment on that.
Okay.
The status on that is in your policy and procedure manual. Under 201, 202, and 203, it tells you how to handle those collections and what to do with them if they can't be handled. And also, ladies and gentlemen, I bought y'all the insert that goes in our policy and procedure manual. And naturally, I can't find mine. Right here. Okay, I'm sorry, Mike. I forgot to get y'all to approve this one to go in the policy and procedure manual. And since we are doing collections tonight, each one of you have this copy. See it right there by the side of it? Okay, if it's so hard to collect $2 on people that only make $5,999, I suggest that we collect nothing from those people. Therefore, we'll have no bill to send out, and it won't cost us more to send a bill than it does to charge those people. And on the next one is $999, which would be $6,000 to $11,900. I suggest we collect nothing on those. And then on the third one, we collect $2 where there's $6, $5 where there's $12, and $10 where there's $16, and leave the rest as the people make enough money to pay their bills.
Right.
Okay, the rest of the questionnaire is, the form is good. And if you read the rest of that form, it tells you where a patient signs their name and the agreement they made with you. And if you see there, it tells you they intend to pay, when they're going to pay their fees, while they pay it, and if they don't pay it, what happens.
See, you did your homework.
Yeah, I did my homework, so I suggest that.
That's why you're the chairman.
All right, does anybody have any other suggestions on this paper, and could we have a motion to accept this as part of the policy and procedure manual?
I'll make a motion that we accept this
Sheet.
scale sheet as far as policy and procedure manual is concerned.
And do we accept it with the changes on the collections?
Yes, we do. That's a motion.
Thank you, sir.
Second?
Yes.
Yes. Motion passed. All right, Susan, that ought to take care of our problem with collections. Okay, number 3.
Number 3, we have 2 employees currently on medical leave. They'll be back in, one is due back Monday and one is due back in mid-December.
Okay, on that, Susan, the policy and procedure manual, and I see here you said you hired a temp employee. The policy and procedure manual in 401 says that you are to come to this board and give us or ask us or show us why you need to hire this person. This didn't happen. We're trying to follow the policy and procedure manual and rewriting people up for not following the policy and procedure manual. We have lawsuits filed because we're not following it. You filed a lawsuit, so I suggest that we watch our P's and Q's and follow this policy and procedure manual to the letter.
I haven't filed a lawsuit.
Okay.
I mean, if the policy states that no one can be hired anyway by the recommendation of the board, why is it still doing it?
This
Why?
employee is not hired. This is a temp employee sent to us through
Regardless,
HR.
they're still employed. They're still receiving mental health funds as far as being paid, a paid position. Anyone that's hired within the mental health board should have some type of,
Put your mic down.
should be able to come before the board with an application or whatever the cause may be, back to the ordinance. What I said a long time ago when I first got on the board. Anyone that's hired in this department should be approved by this board. That's not happening. I mean, I don't know what else it's going to take. We following our rules and regulations the way we're supposed to do. If anyone that's hired that's want to apply for a job within this organization should have to come be approved by the board. I mean, is that a problem? I mean, I understand things be tight. We only meet once a month. What's wrong with coming to the board? Yeah, you come to the board and tell us that you've hired so-and-so. This one here is no longer with us. Look at the overturning employees we've lost in 1 year. This is my first time ever witnessing and seeing something like this. 14, 15 employees in 1 year? Something ain't right. I mean, anyone from now on, anyone that's being hired by the mental health board should come to us in order for a recommendation to be hired. I mean, and they have to go on from there. You know, if you want a particular person working for you or working under you, what's wrong with bringing it to the board? Let us do it the right way, legal way. Make a motion, whatever we have to do according to the ordinance to get this person hired.
Yeah, because
You know,
we have
That's
been...
the same thing with increasing salaries. A couple of months ago, they wanted. I'm all for a person that then went to school and got a degree to make more money. Okay, but if you come to us for one thing, come to us for everything. You know, and that's my point. If the ordinance states that they can't be hired without the recommendation of the board, then that's the way it's supposed to be.
And we do have...
And we've been doing it illegally for the longest, since I've been on the board. I haven't seen not one person, not one application, not one name come across my board. All we know, a particular person. I don't know if they're male or female. I don't know. So I don't know who we hiring.
We haven't hired anyone. We have a temp employee from Lofton who's been temporarily assigned to cover.
Well, I mean, I'm
the
just not
position.
covering. I'm just not
This
covering.
is a receptionist position. We could not do without a receptionist.
I
even
understand.
one day,
I understand. I mean,
What's-
I just told you an emergency situation.
So. Well, thank you
Okay.
very much. Number
You got
4.
another question, ma'am?
I'm sorry?
Why are you calling your position a receptionist position?
Why am I what?
Why are you calling the position a receptionist position?
Because it's a receptionist job. It's
That's not the name of the person in that position that we've been discussing. That's not the name of the position. The bottom line is this, Ms. Susan, you're constantly violating the ordinance. We have had legal to speak to you about the violations, and you continue. We are now in the process of independent investigation. So we're going to have to deal with these things according to policy. You change policy in the policy manual, and you want us to approve those things. You said that you hadn't filed a lawsuit against anyone, but you filed a claim against people, and you didn't bring it to us. You didn't bring it to legal.
I have no idea what you're talking
You're violating.
about. I have no idea what you're talking
You're
about.
violating.
I have filed no claim against anyone. So, let's just be clear on that. Number 4, grants. I have nothing to report on Governor Safe and Drug-Free Schools. Our Strengthening Families program is now functioning. We have some excellent staff that you all approved their contracts last meeting, and that program is underway.
With the $40,000 that the person lost in Donaldsonville, the grant.
That's not the grant I'm talking about. I'm talking about Governor Safe and Drug-Free Communities, Schools and Communities.
Okay.
The second one that I'm reporting on is Capital Area Human Services District Prevention Grant. And we have been offered an undisclosed amount up to $40,000. I don't know how much they would actually give us, if anything. They asked us to write a grant and submit it right away, which I did, and we're waiting to hear whether or not they're going to award us any funds for that.
Well, what is that grant for?
Why did we lose the funding?
We
We
didn't
didn't
lose
lose
the
the
funding.
funding. Someone else in Donaldsonville lost it. But you wrote, and you,
It's here
No,
stating that.
it has nothing to do with us. It's another program.
see, it says Donaldsonville lost its funds.
It's a contractor with
for-
Capital Area Human Services District that lost its
What
funds.
it's doing on this report is what we're
Well,
saying.
what we're doing is they lost it, and the ladies from Capital Area Human Service District has offered us to take up that money, and we were supposed to write a grant or something. She asked you to give her permission to submit something here. Well, she's already submitted it, and I want to know what she's asking for with it, and is it to work in Donaldsonville?
It's to provide an additional substance abuse prevention group at the alternative school for the options program students, and it's to provide a substance abuse prevention program for the 7th grade, I think we finally decided on, at Donaldsonville High School. So those two. Now, what will happen is that they will contact us if they approve our our proposal. We may have to negotiate back and forth till we come up with a final plan.
And that fund is going to fully pay for that position you're planning on.
No, it'll pay a portion of the position. It'll pay a portion of 3 positions. I've forgotten how we spread it out. But all that's negotiable. They have to let us know whether that's acceptable or not.
But who's going to pay the other portion of that salary?
Well, the salary, the person already works for us. This is not somebody we're hiring. This is
Okay.
staff we already have.
Well, I'm sorry we have to ask those kind
Yeah,
of
no,
questions.
that's a good
but-
question. We have one prevention staff member, and she's going to go. She's going to provide a group at the alternative school to the regular population, to the alternative school options population, and then to the middle school, one of the middle school classes, and we talked about 7th, 8th, and I don't remember which
And that's
one.
Donaldsonville.
And that's at Donaldsonville High School.
Since we're on these grant issues, who in the mental health department, who is over the grants as far as
I am.
applying for them?
I am.
You, only you, nobody else
I
works
have a
with
grants coordinator who does the day-to-day management,
And who
submits
is
the
that?
invoices. submits reports.
What's her name? Who is that?
Her name is Jill Lemon.
Okay. Well, I think it would be fine and indefinite if Ms. Jill would come to our meetings along with you to discuss these grant issues.
I'm the spokesman for the staff.
Okay.
And, she
well,
provides you with two detailed reports.
My reasons for asking that is because we just finished up a needs assessment, okay? There's a lot of programs out there that we're going to be in need of, and I need to know, are you all prepared to deal with this before, y'all understand what I'm saying?
Yes, we will do.
Are we prepared? Do y'all have a plan?
Well, we should have started writing for some of these grants that they
Exactly. That's my point. That's what I'm trying to get at. Are we prepared for what's coming?
Well, ask her.
Okay, because it's going to happen. Okay, and I'm just concerned. That's why I asked you who else, because you can't do it all by yourself. That's impossible.
But I write the grants, and someone works under me to develop budgets.
But my thing is, with this needs assessment we just finished up. Okay, if there's so many meetings she can come and attend, so we can all work on this thing together, not just you by yourself and not just her. Okay, because one person can't do it all. I'm a living witness to that. And with this needs assessment we got coming up, and these few little grants here ain't gonna cover. So something else need to be written.
Well, you all make some recommendations.
We done made the recommendation. We're telling you now.
No,
grants. We need some more grants.
Yet.
Okay, we need some more grants.
Right. Okay.
Okay, I tried once before. I introduced teenage pregnancy. I introduced Pills Against Tobacco. I introduced drug-free stuff like that. I haven't seen nothing come across my desk yet. Across the table yet. We keep banking on the same thing. There's a lot of grants out there. And it was told to me, I have a list of them that's out there. A whole bunch of them. We just not applying for them. And if we don't apply for them, how are we going to get them? Now, when the time comes to run one of these programs from the needs assessment, now we got another problem. We don't have the funding to fund it. So, something needs to be done as far as the grant issue is concerned. We need to start writing, doing something to get some grants in here. Or maybe we need to hire somebody that can do it.
Well, Jerry, you missed the needs meeting, but in the back of the book there, you will find where there is 5 or 6 suggested grants that we start applying for now. And I was wondering, have you started action on that?
I did, actually.
Thank you.
But see, I don't want to have these programs.
Well, why didn't we tell him that?
We done did all this
Susan,
in this package. We got all this needs assessments going in this packet. I don't want to wait until we have a program and say, look, we need to start this program. How are we going to start it? We don't have the funding. That's going to be the next thing, Because, a person that don't want this needs assessment is going to try anything to stop it. And I'm a living witness to that. All right? I just wanted to make sure that that's not a problem we're going to have in the long run, trying to fund the programs that we done spend X amount of dollars on, getting all these surveys done and find out the needs of the people. So we need to have some funding to do it, and the funding need to be there before we actually start these programs. Thank you.
Also, we're still wondering why we lost the $5,900 in the grant that we had. Why wasn't the grant money spent?
Well, we discussed that already. You didn't understand my answer?
I understood it.
Okay.
We don't even have grants. And you're saying you're writing for them. You're the grant writer. What grants do we have?
We give you a list.
Outside of the ones that automatically renew themselves.
Your list came to you in the mail. It's attached, the same list you get.
Yeah, I didn't get anything in the mail, remember?
Okay, well, it's in there. Under D, capital area treatment grant is operating, and we had our quarterly audit and did fine. Under item D, we were offered $50,000 a month by the East Ascension Hospital Board. I submitted a program to you all, a grant application. I never heard anything back from you. Mrs. Stafford was very upset that she didn't get a response, and she asked me, she liked the program very much and asked me to give it to the school system, that they were very interested in applying for the funds. So I did give it to them, and they're very excited about it, so they're going to get to do my program. I'm disappointed, but I'm going to support them any way I can.
Well, Susan, this is once again, and the only reason I had the needs assessment put on TV was to have it on air where I could prove what was said and what was not said. Miss Z and I attended several meetings with you and told you what Cynthia told us she wanted and asked you to write a program that would cover these people. And she told, Miss Renda told us that that program for the school was a good program, but that wasn't exactly where we thought this board should go with that kind of money. And that was, and Miss Cynthia talked to me, she wanted to cover walk-ins, she wanted to cover children between the 18 and 26 years of age who had no insurance and who had substance abuse and mental health problems. You never came back with us any kind of...
We already covered that population. You don't need to have insurance to come to the clinic for any kind of treatment.
Susan, we need a grant or a program or something written for Miss Cynthia. I talked to her again. It has to do with, and why are we turning away people when they come in and try to get things? Why does our needs assessment and other things show such a huge waiting list if we can...
That's not our waiting list. That's Capital Area's waiting list. We have no waiting list. We absolutely do not have a waiting list. We never run a waiting list. So,
well, you just positively are not going to write us any kind of program.
No, that's not it. That's not it at all. I'll do my best to write another program. I've already written one, and I'll do my best to write another one. They want it by the 20th of November, which is pretty short time now.
Well, now that's our first hearing of that from you.
Ms. O'Taya, it's a question I want to ask Ms. Susan before we go any further. What are your goals and objectives as far as mental health at this point?
Mr. Butler, I'm not prepared to discuss that right now. That's not where we are on the agenda.
That's a question I had to ask you.
Well, I'm not prepared to discuss that now.
What are your goals as a director for mental health of Ascension Parish?
I'm not prepared to discuss that now. I'll be glad to do it at a future time. I'll be glad to come
Susan,
prepared, but I'm not.
A mental health director should have goals and opportunities. After 3 years of being in this position, and the only place I find we are going is backwards.
That's why I asked the question.
I'll be glad to discuss it with you next meeting.
So
I mean, you don't stand, you don't have any goals or any ideas in your mind?
I certainly do, but I'm not prepared to discuss it right now. The next item I have is the board approval for the revised policies.
I have a statement before we move to the next item. When you stated that Ms. Stafford was upset about that, we talked with Ms. Stafford. We got the extended time. And you're saying that she was upset about this because you had written something that we didn't approve of. When we met in your office, Mr. Taylor and I, we asked you to write something. We gave you information on what we wanted you to write for.
I can't write a program for 18-year-olds who don't have insurance to serve that population.
But you're supposed to specialize in this field. You're supposed to know what program to write. Okay.
Well, I did, and I wrote an excellent program.
And we gave you information. We did our part. We're just asking you to do your part.
Thank you. Now, may I move on? Board approval of revised policies. I submitted the policies and procedures approved by the health care attorney sometime back. 8607 was when I distributed it, and I hadn't gotten an answer from you all about whether or not you approved it.
We approved a policy and procedure manual on May the 17th of 2007, and it is supposed to be good for a year. And when you got this approval the other day, you needed that information to give them, for them to approve of that. Is that what? Is that the?
Who is them? I'm sorry.
The agency with the audit.
I'm sorry. I don't know. I don't understand. We have.
Last year, we were written up for the simple reason the policy and procedure manual had not been approved in time.
Right.
This is the same board we're talking about, right or wrong?
Right.
No, that's not what we're talking about at all. What I'm talking about is
the hospital.
No, I'm on an entirely different subject. I submitted Judy Girolando, our specialist.
Susan, we understand that fully.
Okay.
I'm going back to number C, where you got your agency's audit approved. In that agency audit in 2006, we had to have a policy and procedure manual that had been approved and in place for 1 year.
No, I think what it said was it had to be approved every year. The board had to approve
And
the
that's
policies
to
every year.
be in place for 1 year. If you want to technically argue with this board, you can stand there all night. And there's nothing this board can do. We well understand that. We asked the parish president to help us get this settled. We asked the council to help us get this settled. Nobody is willing to step up and do their jobs and follow the ordinance or the homeroom charter as far as I'm concerned. And when we come here and we try to learn this information from you, and you act like that I'm talking way out yonder over where the cow jumped over the moon or something, it's kind of ridiculous for me to sit here and people out there in the public to think I'm that stupid.
Okay, so you're not going to approve the policies? Is that the answer to that?
The policy and procedure manual was approved on May the 17th of 2007, and it's going to stand there till next May the 17th.
All righty. Under 6, contracts and letters of agreement, we've never gotten approval for the FINS program and task for their use of, they asked for 3 offices in Donaldsonville.
I have a question on that.
Well, 1 minute, Jerry, please, before I recognize you.
Okay.
I talked to the lady yesterday or today, I won't swear to which day, and I told her that we had this needs assessment, and I told her what our plans was, and I told her that that space may not be available, but she can use it until we get this needs assessment started, and we would love to include them in what we have planned for the needs assessment. And she said, fine, just let her know a couple of months before we kick her out. Now,
I have
Jerry.
a question as far as FINS and TASC is concerned. If in my will and this board will, can they come to 1 hour meetings and give a short presentation? Some people don't know what TASC is. Some people don't know what this type of program is, and it's not being advertised enough. Because when I met with them a while back, I was under the impression that every child that's involved in TASC or whatever, TASC or FINS, has to be seen by a mental health counselor.
I did too.
Okay, and if that's the case, every child that's with FINS or TASC coming through the mental health building in Donaldsonville should be recognized by a mental health counselor. I don't know if it's in their policies and procedures that they follow or what, but that's one of the questions that we need to ask them, or basically get them to come to the meeting where we can ask them questions so that the citizen of Ascension Parish will know which route to go. And maybe that can be an impact as far as our needs assessment is concerned. We also can find needs with those children.
Right.
Okay, not just that it can be adults, but it also can be children. So we need to maybe schedule find out who the director is over that program. I don't have a problem giving them office space as long as it's benefiting mental health. Now, if it comes to a problem where we're not getting the services we're supposed to get as far as these children is concerned, and I'm going to be honest with you, I'll take it to my grave for any child that's trying to survive in this world. I mean, that's my personal feeling. If I have to give my life for a child, I will. No matter what race, color, creed, sex, whatever. Okay, when it come down to those children, that's where my heart is. And if FINS and TASC, whatever they are, if they're involved in a mental health program, and they told us up front, if they're seeing 50 children and going out to school seeing these children in the classroom and what's not, why our numbers don't come up in the mental health clinic in Donaldsonville as far as counselors seeing them or assisting them? And FINS is open every day. Okay, they have counselors go out to the kids in the schools, see how they're doing in school, get in touch with the parent. It's hands-on with them. Okay, they go in the classroom. I done had them. I taught school. I done had counselors come in to me in Assumption Parish to see a particular child, and they had this check-off list on how that child is behaving throughout the day. And that checklist has to go back to the mental health department, to the doctor for his evaluation per month. And that's the process that takes place. And if this is what's going on, then we're not doing our part. I mean, I find fault in myself too, because I feel as though I'm not doing my part by not bringing it to the mental health to find out why these counselors is not seeing these children in Donaldsonville. Not just Donaldsonville, over here also. I mean, if that's a FINS program, and that's the FINS that I know each individual child in the FINS program has to be seen by some type of mental health counselor in order to proceed in their treatment. That was told to me. That was told to Miss Italia. That's been told to Miss Baptiste and Miss Renda and Mr. Bryant. You know, so we need to find some type of way. That building got to be open 7 days a week. You know, we can't even get it open 1 day a week almost over there. I don't know what the problem is. You know, and I'm kind of getting fed up with it. I'm sorry. As a registered voter in the parish, state, whatever, I'm getting sick and tired of people overlooking Donaldsonville. You know, and I want the residents to see it. I want the residents to hear it. And in my statement for saying that is, no, I'm not running for no political office. Okay? Because I don't get involved in all that. But my main goal is to take care of those children and take care of those mentally ill patients that we have in the parish. Thank you.
Okay.
Item
Madam
number
Chairman.
7, yes.
Madam Chairman, based on the fact that I have spoken personally with the supervisor, FINS and TASK, and they are a wonderful program, and Board Member Jerry, I will get the information on paper for you. We've been discussing, they do have that need, and at this time I would like to motion that they are allowed to use those facilities until further notice.
Would someone like to second that?
I'll second.
Jerry?
Yes.
Yes.
But we need to see if can they come
I will invite her. I will
to the
invite her.
meeting so she can explain not only to us, but everyone else that's watching this broadcast. You know, I mean, it'll help them as well as it'll help us.
That's right.
You know.
That's Mrs. Lynn Hassenbohler. She came to speak to my staff today. I know she'll be delighted to come. So
Yes, we had asked in time past to have her to give us some information.
She never-
We had asked you for information before.
Yeah, before
well, I
we went.
can't give it
Yes.
to you.
Yeah.
So,
Well, you don't know how many of our patients are referred from these offense to.
we don't capture that as a separate category.
And she never one time mentioned to you that each individual child has to be sent by a
My understanding was
counselor.
that they need whatever services indicated by the case plan. It may or may not be mental health, but
Or
you know,
substance
we're
abuse
happy
or
to
whatever.
provide it. So, under the Gardner-Rada legal contract, item number 7, I'd like to defer that till next month. I put the contract in your packets tonight, but you haven't had a chance to review it. So I'd like, if you don't mind, if we could defer that until next month. Under facility, I'd like to find out, I'd like to tell you that Capital Area is expanding, as Brandy said in her report, their staff, and they've asked us for additional phone lines, fax lines, and computer cables, which we're in the process of installing for them. Not the phone lines yet, but I think, have they started on the
Who's
computer
going to pay
cables?
for that?
No, why are these people working in the contract? This is why.
I just about to ask you
I
that.
don't know. I
I
don't
was
have
just
the
about to
paper
ask
y'all
you that.
have.
You don't have. I have a question on number 7A.
Yes.
The contract has expired. Why are people working with their contracts expired?
But they're not working for us right now. This is a contract that the services have been completed for the year. And what we do is keep an open contract. What I'd like to do is keep an open contract year to year.
No.
Then if a particular health care issue arises and parish administration approves it, the contract is in place. And this is what we've done in the past. This is not day-to-day issues. These are specific health care issues that are outlined in the contract.
And you're saying this is what we've done in the past? We've never done this.
Yes, we did. We did it last year.
No, we didn't.
Yes, we
we
did.
never approved any
It might
contracts.
have was done and we didn't know nothing
Well,
about it.
Hey,
Okay. The
I'll
rest
look
of the
forward.
things been
I'll look
getting
forward
done.
for you.
Well, another subject on legal. We received an email from Tom Pierce, CAO, that we no longer can contact legal without going through the parish president and finance and legal forms. Now, we can't get
We can't get a letter back from the parish president on recommendation of the director.
The best way to get a quick response is to do it through me. I'll be glad to submit it for you, whatever it is. In fact, I submitted
Well,
today.
Susan,
Is that a request or is that legal?
I'm sorry?
Is that a request or is it legal?
Well, you don't have to go through me, but if you'd like to see it go through our process, we can get it through quickly.
No, this
No,
board
that's
is
not-
entitled
we're
to their
talking about-
own lawyer and
Well, you
to
can work
interpret
that
it.
out with the
That's
parish.
it.
I don't know anything about
Okay.
that.
Back to
I
this.
just notifying y'all.
Back to this open contract. We need to take care of this now, because like she said, it went on last year. We didn't know nothing about it, so we need to do something with this right now before we move on to go into anything else.
All right.
With this open contract deal,
Okay.
the contract expired 10/20/07. If they're not working, they're not working. Okay. With this open contract, like she's just said, it went on last year. We didn't know nothing about it, so we need to do something with it now.
Well, make a motion.
Let me just ask,
Yes,
is
sir.
that going to cut services to anyone by doing this first?
No, it doesn't cut services. What we used this contract for was that we had a particular concern about the legality and the process for our handling walk-in emergency clients. And it's a very complicated and difficult issue, and we needed legal guidance. And Mr. Diaz, who's the board's attorney, felt we needed somebody who specialized in that, and he approved and recommended that we talk to Ms. Giorlando, who's helped us in the past on these issues. She will not be able to respond to anything without a contract, though, and we can wait.
But that-
see things like this with Mr. Jeff said, and I know he's a legal attorney, this, that, and the other, but we need to find some type of way. We have an attorney in here to back us on the things that we do and say in these meetings, because at this point in time, we'll fool around and be sued for something that we don't even know nothing about. And not taking nothing, no respect to Mr. Diaz, this, that, and the other. We can all go back and quote what you say, he say.
Right.
But I'm like this: if he don't, I need to hear it from him, okay? Because I don't want to approve nothing that's going to jeopardize me and my finances and my family.
Well, I'm
not
actually asking
doing
you to defer discussion until I can present you with the details next month.
Well, tell me how this happens if somebody walks in and it's an emergency and they in terrible shape, and you think they're going to go outside and shoot themselves or somebody else, and then you can be sued. By the time you call and write for a written answer from this lawyer, it'll all be over with.
Could I answer that question next month for you? I
But
think it makes
still,
more
we need to
sense.
do something with it, because
Well,
you
make
said
it-
it's staying open. So we need to do something with it.
I'm asking you to defer it. There's no contract right now. The contract has expired.
But
Please
still,
defer.
if we deferred it,
But
that's
it's
still
open.
saying
You
that
say
it's not open.
It's not open. It's expired. It's expired.
So we don't have, in other words, we don't have it anyway.
We don't have a contract right at the moment.
Right.
Right.
So why
we-
would
we
you
don't-
come ask us to open it? Why you want it open?
Well, it's not open. It's canceled,
not.
and
It's
there's no
just- it's
contract, so that takes
expired.
care of
So
that.
where is the person that's working?
Well, nobody's working there. Not supposed to be.
That's not
The
what.
reason I want to defer
Oh,
it
that don't
is that I
sound-
can
that
bring
don't
you a
sound
fuller
too-
discussion of it next month.
But still, Miss Susan, you're saying deferred it, but it's still open. I mean,
No, it's-
if you're saying
it's
it, well, we need
expired.
to put that in another terminology, okay? As far as being open and deferred, okay? If it's deferred, that means it's still open.
No, it's only open during the course of the contract. The contract has expired. It's no longer.
No, well, I just don't want nothing to happen to where, like last year, you just stated that it was open and you can show it to us, this, that, and the other, but nobody on the board remembers.
Well,
I mean, that's
please
kinda-
wait until next month and we'll discuss it more fully.
Well, I'm glad you made that statement there.
Under facility, the capital areas I just said is expanding, so they're doubling up their staff to make space for these new folks. None of us have any extra space, so they've done a very creative job of trying to use the space that they have, and we're trying to accommodate them as much as we can with building services.
The purpose for it is the caseloads increased?
they're trying to decrease the wait time that people have to wait for appointments. So when anyone complains that they have to wait on a waiting list, that's a capital area problem. And as Randy explained in her report, they're trying to reduce that wait time by hiring more staff and streamlining their procedures.
Compliments and congratulations to you.
We don't have a wait list, and no one has to wait. They can be seen the week that they call for their appointment. So, under facility, also, I had submitted a list of projects that we budgeted for and that you all approved the budget for, and I don't know which, if any, of those you are going to approve are completing.
Well, wait, right here.
The
Okay.
funds expire for that at the end of the year.
That's not on my agenda, Susan.
Oh.
And this right here, you're asking about this right here.
B, under
Yeah.
8 facilities.
Well, who's going to pay
B.
for that? Yeah.
The money's already budgeted. It's in the
To
budget.
lines for the state?
Oh, the lines for the state? No, we
Who's
pay
paying?
for that.
We paying for that?
4 phone line, 2 fax line.
They provide
They
mental
wanna
health
add that.
services to Ascension residents. It
They wanna
seemed like
add
a very important thing to do.
Susan, we know that, but we lost $88,500 for their rental and their expenditures in our building. And yes, if they're gonna go ahead with it, I'm for it.
Yeah,
But
we're granted as long as they're paying for it.
We're paying for it.
We'll grant this as long as they pay for it.
You'll grant what?
It's item B,
As long as
under
they pay for it.
facilities.
So we're not going to be able to get the funds?
They have requested the addition of 4 phone lines, 2 fax lines, and installation of cables for 3 computers.
Okay, so the answer to that is no, we're not
We
going to
don't
provide
mind
that.
them having it as long as they pay for it.
Okay, I'll tell them that.
I hope it's there that way.
And the last thing that's not on, this is not on your agenda, but it is urgent, is that I would like you to approve a line item transfer to pay for the needs assessment, $24,000. We are obligated by contract to pay that in 30 days, and
excuse me, we paid half of that in advance,
right.
and it was approved, and we came back, and the whole amount was approved. We just owe the second amount, so.
But we took the first $12,000 out of our professional services, and we're not going to have enough to pay our doctors for the rest of the year. So that was just a temporary.
Don't we have that $40,000 in there for a counselor that we didn't hire?
That's exactly. We want to move the money from 4002, which is substance abuse salaries, to 4046 professional services.
Why are we
$24,000 to cover the needs.
Why are we
assessment.
moving funds around like that?
Because
we
don't
didn't
have.
prepare for the needs assessment. It wasn't in our budget to start off with.
So then they're going to put back into where they got the 12,000 from?
Well, it came from here too, right? The
Right.
12,000 came from this.
We paid the
40,000.
doctors a certain amount a month, and in August, we had plenty of money left in that account. Now, October, November, December, we don't have enough to finish the year for them, so we have to move some more money in there. The
Now,
garden,
how much money are you talking about moving?
$24,000.
Huh?
$24,000 the cost of the needs assessment.
Well, what about the salary
Well, I want us
for the
to,
position that we
well, yeah, that could come out of that $40,000,
Yeah.
right? Transfer it from that, all
From
right,
that
you make the
section.
motion.
Chairman, go to our motion that we transfer the $24,000 from the salary that we're no longer using to pay the needs assessment.
I second.
Okay.
Okay, it passes.
And
Missy
that's,
seconded.
That motion. Jerry
Oh, you
seconded.
motioned it, Jerry
Jerry
second, I'm sorry. Okay, now then,
and
Next.
the last thing I just want to tell you is that I put the activity sheet for the budget in your packets, and I attached a very good and descriptive account of why some budget categories are over the anticipated amount for this month, and I just thought that would be very helpful to you to know that. So that's in there.
we
And
will discuss that at the next meeting due to the fact we have not seen it.
well, I'm not asking you to do anything. I'm just telling you it's
Well,
there.
every month we're supposed to do that, Susan, to keep
Well-
up with the budget, but
May I ask, is it possible if we can meet with you if we find a need?
You can meet, we have a regularly scheduled meeting.
No,
at-
not the regular one. We missed that one. After we go over these,
Oh, sure, you can
we
come
may
anytime
have to meet with you.
Of course,
In
anytime.
order to, is that okay with you?
Anytime, just call me and make an appointment. I'll be glad to meet with anybody. I just wanted you to know I had just gotten that and clarified some of it yesterday, so, and you will see a $130 item on there for vehicle. That's a mistake. It's going to be taken off on next month's report.
That's why I said we needed to meet with you
Sure.
Okay.
before the next
Thank you.
regular meeting.
And the next one is number 7 on the agenda. And
What is that?
And number 7 is to approve of the DA's invoice. No, this. The
Yeah, I
D-
know, but
Oh, what is that?
she's not finished. This is attached to her report.
Well, it's not on the one that was sent to me in the mail, Jerry, therefore I don't have it.
This,
And I would prefer we just leave it till
Well,
next
God
month.
did not want to
Something we
attend.
need to look at.
This, we need to look at this.
Everything
Oh,
that she
okay.
put-
Everything that she has in black and white.
Read it, Jerry.
Ms. Susan, you come back up, please, and explain this last page attached to your report.
Sorry, which one is it?
Reasons for
Oh, yes,
non-attendance.
I'm sorry.
Attendance.
I'm sorry, I forgot about that. Mrs. Hodnett had asked why people, when people don't show up for appointments, what the reason was. And she asked us to check on that, and we know anecdotally each time that it's usually because either they didn't want to come, or they had to work, or they didn't have transportation, or they were sick. People sometimes come on the wrong day and the wrong time. They might come on Wednesday and their appointment's really on Friday, and so we can't see them at that time. Some people give no reason, and a surprisingly large number of people give us inaccurate phone numbers. So when we try to call them to let them know that the appointment, is coming up, to remind them to increase the chance that they would likely come, we don't have a working phone number. So these are the reasons.
Do y'all fit them in? Like, let's just say I see number 5 say client comes at the wrong time or wrong day. It's just that their particular doctor is not there, or they can't be fitted in,
Can't
or
be fit in, no.
they can't be fit in.
No. Our counselors are scheduled every hour, and the doctors are scheduled every 15 minutes. If there's a rare case where the doctor has an opening and they come on the wrong day, we'll certainly try to fit them in.
Do y'all just tell them y'all can't see them on that day, or do y'all make some type of privilege at that time to maybe fit them in if somebody's finished early or something like that? Don't just turn them around and let them walk away. I mean,
People don't finish early. People are booked for the whole hour, and the only reason there would be a space is if the person.
so everybody
somebody
that
else
comes in has to stay here 1 hour.
Right.
They
And yet-
got to stay an hour.
And yet, over
They can
here,
leave
it
early
says
if they want.
percentage of the people don't keep their appointments.
No, I'm just saying, I just
No,
hate-
but
I
it's
just
wait, listen to what I'm telling you, Jerry. On this piece of paper right here, it says they made 50 appointments and only 46 showed up. So they ought to have some open hours then.
Yeah, that's what
4
I'm saying.
hours.
Something.
The mental health counselors have roughly 10 open hours a month. So if somebody happens to have the empty hour, and then certainly we can do that. But that's very unusual.
I asked that question because I hate to see a person that come in for treatment. Because I done missed appointments before. Okay, I done came on the wrong day. Okay, my appointment Tuesday, and I pop up Wednesday. Oh, I'm so sorry. I thought it was Wednesday, but can I still be treated?
Right.
But then.
But see, when you go to your doctor, they book 2 and 3 people for every time slot. It's like every 10 minutes. So in the course of an hour, they book many, many people. In the course of an hour, for each counselor, we book 1 person.
So no time or day they don't have no way.
And if they don't come, they've not only taken up their appointment, they've also taken the appointment of somebody else who wants to come. So it's very distressing to us, and we try to do everything we can do to prevent that. But we can't do a lot of. I mean, if somebody has to work, they could call us and cancel. And some
Well,
people.
I just would like to ask you. I mean, you personally. I just would like to ask you on this issue, and I'm gonna leave it alone after this. Is that I see number 2. Transportation problems is one main factor. If a person don't have a transportation for that day and come the next day, or even call and say, I need some treatment, this, that, and the other, my biggest thing is it's in your willpower, in your way, that person If the doctor can't give up an extra hour, or the counselor can give up extra 30 minutes, I mean, we're spending money on everything else, and you got a person here that need treatment and come on the wrong day. Make it in your willpower to at least try and fit them in. Now, if you can't fit them in for no reason,
We can't do it, I'm sorry.
but I can't see how you can sit here and make that statement like that.
I know,
if
because I know what I
you got 46
said.
scheduled in, but you got 50 hours and you got 46 hours scheduled. You got 4 out there you can play with something.
Let me explain how this works. The staff is not working effectively, and I'm not being an effective manager if we don't fill as many slots as possible. But a slot is an hour for a counselor, and it's anywhere from 2 hours to 15 minutes for the doctor, depending what service he's providing. And unless there are very unusual circumstances, we have had the doctor stay late.
Okay, another scenario.
But we pay the doctor by the hour, and it's hugely expensive to have him stay late. And also, he's not always able to do that.
All right, another scenario. Let's just curiosity. Miss Baptiste missed her appointment. I'm not scheduled for this day, but I come in. Miss Baptiste's appointment is at 10 o'clock. Okay, I show up at 3 o'clock. Miss Baptiste didn't see her appointment. That's a whole hour just wasted. Can I be seen? I'm not scheduled.
Now, wait, you come in at 3 o'clock? And
No, let's just say 2. Let's just say 2 o'clock. I come in at 2, thinking I got an appointment scheduled. Miss Baptiste had a 10 o'clock appointment. Miss Baptiste didn't show up, but I showed up at 2 o'clock. Can I be seen?
Somebody else will be scheduled at 2 o'clock. Now, if there's nobody scheduled, it's fine.
No, what I'm saying is you still have a whole hour there that's available.
It's not like the whole day moves up to fill the 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock
You
is...
know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but
I'm trying not to let the person go back without being treated. You know,
I understand, but
It distresses us. It doesn't happen very often. Our folks are pretty much understand the process. We explain it to them, and we reinforce that explanation, but it does happen occasionally. It happens more frequently with the doctor, where people just show up. We have limitations.
So in other words, transportation is the biggest factor in this whole scenario.
No, actually, that's not true. We only have a few people for whom that's a really serious problem. And we try to accommodate them as much as possible. A lot of times they'll pay somebody to bring them to the clinic, and the person that they pay comes early, comes late. They have no control over that. We work very hard to try to do something.
And then one more question.
Sure.
One more question. Some of these clients that have some type of insurance, I know they got a lot of transportation services out there, you know, that people pay transportation to go here and go there, go here and there. Is it any kind of way in our willpower in the future we can look forward as for some type of transportation?
That's one of the things in the needs assessment is transportation.
You certainly can discuss the option of using the mental health fund to pay for transportation. The other option is that Medicaid clients can...
already covered with transportation.
Medicaid clients can contact the Council on Aging. They have a van that's available for a small amount. The problem is none of these transportation services guarantee to get you where you're supposed to be at the time.
I know when that does.
But, well, also there is a grant, and it's mentioned in the needs assessment for transportation that we can apply for, if we can get somebody to apply for the grant. And Susan, before you go sit down, the DA's invoice...
Before you go to the DA, I have a question on the...
Oh, I'm sorry.
On this issue. So you're stating that the problem is not that detrimental?
It is for a small percentage of people, certainly.
Okay. So what we're having, if a person misses their appointment, then there's an hour space, right?
Right.
That the counselor or the doctor may not see. If this happens 3 times a day.
It may happen 3 times a day.
Okay, so what do?
They catch up on paperwork, make phone calls, do whatever they have to do. We don't like that. It upsets us because when somebody misses a session like that, they take away an appointment time from somebody who really would want to come. And so that distresses us greatly. That's a problem all mental health clinics have, and we're going to look at ways to, we're always looking at ways to try to address that.
Right, and we have discussed this issue before. You and I, Mr. Talley, we've discussed it with the board. We talked about a courtesy phone call, so you're saying that the courtesy phone calls don't work, or do we have someone? Did you assign someone to do?
But people will say, sure, I'm coming tomorrow at 10 o'clock and then they don't come.
I have
Well,
another.
you see, that's one good idea. With that $50,000 a month for 2 years, couldn't we work out a plan that we could have one counselor that could have some open time to schedule people like this? Because if they need mental health, they're going to forget to come. They're going to have a problem of getting there or planning a day in advance. I mean, we're talking about people who need us to go out of our way to take care of
And
them.
we're happy to go out of our way. The problem is, if you're seeing a particular counselor, these are not interchangeable services like medical services. Anybody can take your blood pressure and check to see if you have a broken arm.
That would be very,
The
very
person
true.
needs to see their particular counselor.
That's
Yeah.
why I asked you about the availability for that person that don't show up, because we have counselors, doctors that's getting paid and ain't doing nothing.
Well, I can't say that.
Yeah, I can say that.
On occasion, if somebody
Because
doesn't
guess
show
what?
up.
That doctor's still gonna get paid for that
still gonna get paid,
hour
that's
that
right.
this person don't show up.
That's right.
So I'm trying to see fit where somebody can fill that spot.
That's why we book our doctors every 15
You know,
minutes,
I
so
mean-
that if somebody doesn't show up, it presses them a lot. But it gives us a little coverage to try to get people in.
Okay, now we're going to move on to this DA. Last year, the DA's contract that we were being the negotiator, the mental health board was the in-between person. The contract was written between the district attorney's office and the parish president. And it was a grant. And the mental health board agreed to be the person that the DA sent the invoice to. We paid the invoice, but then the parish government reimbursed the mental health board for this fund. You told us this grant was no longer there. And I asked you for all the grants a few months back and all the contracts and all the intergovernment agreements and whatever, and you didn't
Yes,
furnish me with
I
this
gave
one.
it to you in July. It was distributed
Well,
at the July meeting.
I found my copy that I had, and in it, it expires October the 21st or the 15th and of last year. I asked this board to indulge us and go ahead and pay this contract for one more year and give you a chance to find this grant, to find out how we will reimburse and to do something with it. That hasn't been done. So I want us to think about notifying the DA that we're not going to participate in this program unless we have some statistics about how many people we're helping. We need some information on it. And what, like I said, how many clients are they seeing? How many? What good are we doing paying this bill if we don't know anything about it? And I have legal. I had legal before I got this little notice, looking into whether it was legal, whether it was an automatic. It is an automatic renewal. So do y'all want to? What do y'all want to do with this invoice? We have to pay September, and we have to notify them, and we have to pay October's, but we can notify them that we no longer going to participate in this program.
I think you have to give them 90 days per the contract.
Huh?
If you're going to cancel it, it's 90 days.
When it's an automatic renewal, if we don't renew it, it's not.
You can. It says in the contract that you can discontinue. Either side can discontinue at any time, but you have to give 90 days notice.
We have a motion to pay these 2 months.
Well, I sent it to legal 30 days ago, and I have no answer back.
I resubmitted that request today.
You resubmitted it. Well, like
So,
I said,
we'll see.
that keeps us.
Would you like to defer that until next month when I can bring you some more information about it?
Well, it will
No.
already automatically be renewed. That's why we try to get information months ahead of time instead of the night that it has to be approved.
My understanding is that it was signed on the 25th, September 25th, 2001, so it would automatically, I thought it renewed September 25th, but
My contract
Could be wrong.
says October or the 21st, I'm thinking. And it is between the DA and the parish president. And the mental health board is only put in there as the person that negotiates the bill.
Okay, I have a suggestion. Along with the motion, I motion we pay the September and October bill,
Mm-hmm.
then give them the 90-day notice
As of today?
as of today.
I second.
Is that something that you want me to do? Is that something you're going to do?
That's something
Who's
that
been-
the
who's
board
been paying?
secretary does.
Okay.
And if we find out different from legal about this situation, we can bring it back up. But if we're just paying a DA bill for what, we don't know. That's
Well,
just
you're
like the
paying-
fence. We
You're
ask
paying for the salary of an employee who follows the drug diversion
I understand
clients through the legal system, who comes to help us run groups for these clients, and who is, I think, still doing a group at the alternative school.
that. Right.
Yes, but we're supposed to be reimbursed that amount. We know what we're paying and why.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought Ms. Italia said she didn't know what she was paying it for.
I know.
No,
I mean, I
we understood
understand
it.
that that's what's in the contract. But am I getting that service or not?
Yes.
Okay. Fine.
And the agreement was for the mental health to pay it out of their funds, and they were supposed to be reimbursed when the money came in.
Now, I didn't see that anywhere in the contract,
Okay.
but that doesn't mean it's not there, so,
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, that's why I sent it to legal.
okay, so I'll let you know what I hear, if I hear back.
And run us up some figures on how many patients we see in here, how many FINs, how many, all of these groups that we keep paying money for. We want to see some kind of percentage or some kind of report on what we're paying for.
I don't
Well,
think we pay any money to either FINS or TASC. We have offered the office, their use of the office as a community service, since we weren't using the space.
Okay.
But I had
You
spoken
made
with
a motion.
Councilman McConnell on that issue. That's why I'm saying what I said. And he thought that the parish was paying it, or supposed to reimburse us.
Okay, so the motion is that we pay the September and the October DA's invoice, and we notify them as of tonight that the contract that is renewable in October, sometime in October, is going to be canceled.
Sure, but I know it's in there.
That's the motion. Who seconded it?
I second.
Second by Jerry.
Um,
And we got to vote on it. You're going to vote yea and nay?
Yes.
And yes. Okay, so that passes. Now,
I have.
I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. Okay.
Okay.
We're gonna go to the end.
And when we get the information back from legal as to how that goes, then we may change our mind on that. But I keep asking y'all to renew stuff that we had grants to cover, and we no longer have any of the grants.
No longer.
No longer. Okay. Moving on to new business. Is there any new business?
No.
Under old business, I have the needs assessment, and I was going to ask Ms. Renda about the suggestions. And Susan, I asked you, and you said you had already started on the grants they suggested, trying to apply for those grants? No?
I haven't applied for any yet.
I asked.
I reviewed them.
You reviewed them. Do you intend to apply for them?
I'm still reviewing them. It takes a while.
But see, that's going to prolong this
Uh.
needs assessment. That's going to stop the needs. When we get ready to do something out of the needs assessment, that's the question I asked earlier in the meeting.
I have to review the grants.
To be able to back up the needs
Some of
assessment.
them are not available now for application. Some of them are not suited for our agency. So I'm going through and putting that information together. So I certainly
Well, Susan,
will get back
I
to you.
brought you a fact that there was over 5 million, some 100,000 grants for mental health.
Good, and when you bring me a list, I'll be glad to look at it. Thank you.
I did bring it, and I showed it to you. And then I asked you to pick out 10 grants that you would like us to approve for you to apply for. On those 10 grants, one of them said Ascension Parish not eligible. 2 of them, the dates had already run out on them. There's no way that we're going to get a grant if we can't find anything that satisfies you. And this is not your mental health. This mental health belongs to the people of Ascension Parish. And you can sit back there and roll your eyes at me, but we need some grants and we need some participation on this needs assessment that we paid for. And if you don't intend to work with this board, we're going to have to find a solution to this problem.
Okay.
Mr. Jerry Butler.
Okay.
Old business?
Yeah, that's where we at.
I'm Donaldsonville.
Donaldsonville Mental Health. Okay, on update on the Donaldsonville Mental Health Clinic as far as the repairs and all. I talked to Brian about it, and not last meeting, but meeting before that, we was going to table all repairs for now until this investigation is complete. But
What investigation?
well, whatever the investigation we supposed to have going on with the parish council. So I mean, that's out of my hand, and I'm gonna let the citizens of Ascension Parish know that it's been forwarded to the council, that we're under investigation right now as far as our mental health director is concerned. But I saw Miss Susan, if you don't mind coming back to the podium. I have a few questions I need to ask you as far as Ascension Parish Mental Health Addictive Devices Disorder Clinic pending maintenance redecoration projects. These estimates, where they're from, who they're from. I see they got down here at the bottom, David Gitry?
He provided the estimates.
Okay. When was the estimates provided?
Did we pay for
Wait.
them?
I don't have my glasses on. Hold on a minute.
You know what date it was? I got it. Was it in,
I can find out.
this is October meeting.
It was recently. I can have the
Okay.
date with you.
My question for asking you that, Miss Susan, is that you have some positive points here, but if I recall, and correct me if I'm wrong, that nobody or no one, we will not receive no estimates that we had to pay $50 for these estimates, right?
That's right.
Okay. Well, didn't we say in the meeting, not last month because I wasn't here, prior to, when we sent a letter to the council that we would be under investigation, we made a recommendation of this board not to bring in no contractors for no estimates for anything in Donaldsonville Clinic or Gonzales Clinic until this process is completed. Correct me if I'm wrong.
You're correct.
But tell me right after the meeting, quote within quote, that the estimates was done the Monday after the meeting.
I'd have to go back and check.
I done checked. I got a date.
Okay, well, if you know the answer to the question.
Well, why did you do it is my
I
question.
really am not prepared to discuss that.
Why did you're violating?
I'm not prepared to discuss that tonight. Is there anything else you'd like to ask me?
You're violating.
Thank you.
I would just like to say this before you leave, Ms. Susan. The things that you have put in the packets for us that we have not seen, we have not agreed on. The reason Mr. Butler is saying what he's saying, because you have the contractors' names that's filled in the space.
Yeah.
We have not approved these things. We talked to you last month about this. So whatever you have in the packet tonight that you have given us that we have not discussed and have not approved, we are asking you not to try to get this work done.
I'm not.
Well, why did you go out and get estimates for it that we have to pay for that we did not approve? You're violating. You're violating. If it's wrong, it's wrong. And I'm the type of person, I'm not going to find fault in nobody's doing for someone else. And we specifically said that we was under an investigation with the council not to approve no reconstruction of either one of the buildings until it's completed. Now, this is good points. Don't get me wrong. It's good evidence. It's good stuff that we need to go on. But as of now, we're not going to approve it. But then you go and get a contractor to come in and tell them what you want done like you own the building. This is not your mental health. This is for the taxpayers of Ascension Parish. This is not for Jerry Butler. This is not for Italia Gotro, and it's not for anybody else that's on this board. This is Ascension Parish Mental Health. You cannot go around getting contractors coming in there, scheduling something. Now who's supposed to pay for this? As long as I'm on this board representing Ascension Parish, it's not going to get paid. Now, if somebody go behind my back and pay it, then they violate. If push comes to shove, it's your responsibility to pay for it. You pay for it. It's her responsibility to pay for it. I'm not approving. If this come across the budget, y'all please let me know. Because I'm not paying for it. Because we specifically sit here and told her, do not do this.
Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I have a statement before we adjourn.
Yes, ma'am.
Miss Susan, we're only trying to protect you and ourselves. We don't want to be held accountable for doing some things that we shouldn't do or approving things that we should not approve. Thank you. I make a motion that we adjourn.
I second.
I agree.
Meeting is adjourned. Thank y'all.
All you need is a second.
Yep, that's right. All I need is a second.
Let up people.
Oh, have mercy, Lord.
We spent $24,000 and we're not going to get her to even look at
We are going to get it. We're going to get it. We're going to get it.
This is what my chair will look like.